Hello and welcome to the September edition of the Viva podcast. It's really great to be with you guys again. What a busy month we've had, and I'm telling you, the year is flying by. I can't believe we're in September already. This show is condensed down now, and I'm telling you, there's so much news, views and interviews to fit in. Sometimes we have to roll it over to the next month, but this time we've got another action-packed show for you. A big hello to listeners worldwide. I hope you've been enjoying the show. We love receiving your feedback. So remember, you can leave a SpeakPipe message by going to viva.org.uk/Viva podcast, and there's a SpeakPipe button on the right. Just click it and leave your message. Now, coming up on this month's show, we have details from a few of the Viva festivals that have happened recently. We speak to Chaz Newkey-Burden, a vegan journalist who is responsible for many of the vegan articles that have been going out into many of the national tabloids, such as The Guardian, The Independent, and other well-respected newspapers. We also speak to Veronika Powell, who had a milk debate on Radio 5. We speak to Sam Ashman, our fundraising manager, about a new campaign that we're going to be launching. And we cover the piglets who were saved from a blaze and then served to firefighters as sausages. What? We also have music from Andy Compton, my favourite Bristol house producer. You're listening to the Viva podcast on the first of every month. Listen, subscribe and share, but in the meantime, relax and enjoy.
This is Kyle, aka the Vegan Rapper. You're listening to Kris Townsend on the Viva podcast, giving you all the information you need every month.
Hi Viva team. What better day to send you a message to your podcast via SpeakPipe than the 12th of August, which was your national campaign day for Hogwood Horror Farm and Tesco. Spent all day speaking to the public about it, which has been phenomenal. Just want to support you in every way we can. I think Viva are absolutely amazing, and I will support you until my very last breath. I love everything you do, from the investigations to the podcast, all the information you send out, and every podcast just fills me with absolute joy. It's really part of being a lovely community with all the recipes, the interviews, just everything about it. I love it, and keep up the good work. Thanks so much, everyone at Viva.
Our health campaigner, Veronika Powell, recently was on Radio 5 debating milk. This had something to do with the ASA ruling recently because of the Go Vegan World advert. We've also just had our Scary Dairy Week of Action, all about the dairy industry. So I wanted to play this interview. Well done, Veronika. For everybody else, here's the piece.
Now, the Advertising Standards Authority has cleared an ad campaign which says that humane milk is a myth. That is despite complaints from the dairy industry about the advert from the group Go Vegan World. Milk producers said it wasn't accurate and it was misleading in the way that it described how cows are separated from their calves. Well, Jenny is a free-range dairy farmer in the southwest. She spoke to 5 Live earlier.
Cows, we know, are sentient beings. We love our animals. We've been doing this for a long, long time, and I just think that the picture they're portraying is wrong. It is vicious. It isn't truthful. You know, cows soon forget about their calves. It isn't the same as human beings, not quite. You know, we love them as much as anyone does. And we think it's just going a little bit too far, what the vegans are doing at the moment.
Let's talk about this in a bit more detail with Veronika Powell, a biologist who works as a campaigner with another vegan advocacy group called Viva. Hello, Veronika.
Hello.
And Dr. Dwayne Mellor is with us as well, a dietitian and spokesperson for the British Dietetic Association. Hello to you.
Hello.
Veronika, it was interesting hearing what Jenny had to say there, in that she said dairy farmers do care for their animals, but they aren't exactly the same as humans. They do their best. They do the best they can with them, essentially.
Yes, I mean, I've heard this before so many times, and I don't question that in their own specific way, farmers do love and care for their animals. But it's all about how we've come to accept that this is some sort of a normal scenario, that there's this whole industry based on the exploitation of the female reproductive cycle, because the cows are impregnated, usually forcibly impregnated every single year. Every single year they have their newborn calf removed from them just so we can drink their milk. And then these tiny little calves are put in solitary isolation for the first few weeks of their life, and no matter which angle you look at it from, it's just not right. It's not humane, and the animals are suffering and they're stressed. And this is not a question of opinion, it's a fact, because you can measure so many things about specific calls between the cows and their calves, stress hormones, their heart rate. It's something that really does stress balance them out.
Well, the Advertising Standards Authority have clearly decided there is weight behind that argument, because they've said that that this advert can go ahead. Is that what you were expecting, hoping to hear?
Definitely hoping for, and there's more than enough evidence to back it up, but it's definitely a landmark decision on behalf of ASA to admit that this is the reality.
Dr. Dwayne Mellor, I mean, parents in particular will listen to this, but all of us will listen to this and say, well, look, we're told to drink milk because it's good for us. We need the calcium for our bones.
Yeah, it's definitely a useful food, and for many people, including their diet, is a good way of getting the protein, the calcium, and other vitamins, things like B12, which can be challenging to achieve from a completely meat-free vegan diet. And so it's about personal choice and it's about information, and you can appreciate both sides of this argument. The key thing is, we have a history of dairy farming in this country, and there are rights and wrongs on both sides, and that is why it needs to be sort of given in a dispassionate way, so people can make informed choices, and how, if they wish to include in their diet, they can do, but also if they wish not to include in their diet, there's other things they can include as well.
Yeah. What kind of things are we talking about? Things like nut milks, that sort of thing?
Yeah, and there's a lot of sort of stories about nut milk being equivalent to milk, but they're tend to, unless you're talking about soy milks, have a lot less protein in, and you get some almond milks that can be only sort of 2, 3, 4% of the nut. So they've been quite actually low in the product, and unless they're being fortified with the calcium, they can be a lot lower in calcium. And some are sweetened, so they can actually add to our free sugar intake, which we're increasingly aware of, that sugar is not a great thing to consume in large amounts because it's not good for both in terms of risk of obesity, but in terms of dental health. And there's some discussion, some debates about the bioavailability, how easy it is to get the calcium out of these different sources, because it's more in what's called a sort of a non-biological form, and that may be slightly different to absorb. There's a bit of controversy about that, but there's some people that argue that calcium is easy to get out of milk.
Yeah, Veronika, what about that side of things, that argument that drinking milk is beneficial to humans, small ones in particular?
Well, we do quite a lot of work at Viva on the health and nutrition side of things, and I just have to say that it's not as questionable as it's being portrayed, whether nut milks or almond milks or soy milk is nutritionally adequate, because any milk is a very diluted liquid, and even the National Osteoporosis Society say that there's no need to drink milk for calcium, because it's being portrayed as if milk is the only source of calcium, but there's calcium in so many other plant foods.
Go elsewhere. Look, it's really interesting. Thank you both. Veronika Powell, a biologist from the vegan advocacy group Viva, and Dr. Dwayne Mellor as well, who's a dietitian from the British Dietetic Association.
At Viva, we rely heavily on the gifts that people leave to us in their wills. Without this generosity from our supporters, we would not be able to do the crucial work that we do, investigating industrial farming and slaughter, and saving animals. We also promote veganism to millions of people every year. Leave a legacy which will help make the world a better, kinder place after you are gone. Please consider giving to Viva in your will. To find out more, please visit viva.org.uk/legacies or contact Tony Wardle by email on tony@viva.org.uk or call 0117 944 1000.
In the next piece, we speak to Chas Newkey-Burden, who is a vegan journalist on a mission. I mean, this guy has put out so many vegan articles in some of the most well-respected newspapers in the UK, and I'm telling you, his work is making a big difference because it's bringing it into the forefront of everybody's vision, not just ours. Chas, you're doing a cracking job. Everybody, here's the interview for when I caught up with him.
Well, it's been a dream come true for me, really, because I've been a writer for nearly 20 years now, but I've written mostly about things like football, celebrity issues, sometimes politics, but I've never sort of combined that with my sort of passion for animal welfare until, well, towards the end of last year, and to be able to combine them both has been absolutely wonderful in so many ways.
It's great to have a journalist that's so sympathetic to the cause of animal rights. When and why did the actual change of topic occur?
I think it was really last autumn I moved from vegetarian to vegan, and it was interesting how it happened. I was running a marathon to raise funds for Ahimsa milk because, I was trying to maintain my love of cows, who are my favourite animals, with still eating cheese, which was my favourite food. And so I was trying a sort of, that sort of middle ground. And actually, as I finished the marathon, I sort of fell into a sweaty embrace at the finishing line with a stranger, as you do at marathons. And as I pulled away, I saw he had a vegan runner's jumper on or T-shirt on. And I said, wow, you're a vegan. I said, I think vegans are just the best people in the world. And he said, well, are you one? And I said, no, there's no way I could run a marathon like this if I was a vegan. And he just went, dude, I'm about 20 years older than you and I've just finished a marathon in front of you. Go vegan. And what was interesting, when I got back to the hotel, my boyfriend laughed his head off when I told him I was going vegan. And I said, what's so funny? And he said, Chaz, only you could run a marathon for a dairy in the morning and then go vegan in the afternoon. And then I think really I got such a shock from really looking in properly to dairy and how it's produced. Because although I had obviously looked into it before, because I was still consuming dairy previously, I'd never really looked that deeply into it. I was too scared, to be honest, because I was feeling selfish and wanting to still eat cheese like people do. And so when I looked into dairy and I realised that, well, certainly in my opinion, it's worse than meat, the way that it's produced, the way the farms are run and stuff, I just thought, right, I really want to just devote as much of my time now to the whole cause. And writing was just an obvious way, because that's one of the very few things in the world I'm reasonably good at.
It's a logical step, isn't it, from vegetarian to vegan? What are you trying to achieve with your articles?
Well, there's the saying, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegetarian. I think it's Paul McCartney who originally said it. But anyway, I'm sort of trying to give all slaughterhouses, dairy farms, the whole thing, glass walls for 900 words, basically, as often as I can. So I'm just trying to show the world this is what's going on. It's a consensual showing. People won't read my article. They'll know from the headline of the article that it's going to have some really powerful and quite shocking facts in it and descriptions of farming methods. And my hope is just to give people the chance to see it. I'm very clear. I don't tell anyone directly to become vegetarian or vegan. I put the facts in front of them and I invite them, if they want to read it. And in my opinion, if your heart's even vaguely open and you read that stuff, most times people will probably make a change, if not immediately, eventually. And I just want to be part of that.
How difficult do you think it's been to get your pro-vegan articles into the mainstream media?
Yeah, I found it surprisingly easy. Occasionally, when I pitch in an idea, they might say, you've just written an article on this topic. So, for instance, having written a big one about dairy that created quite a storm a couple of months ago, that doesn't mean that the following week I can then pitch another article about another aspect of dairy. I think that they'll sort of feel like dairy's done for a while. And sometimes they'll come back and say something's niche. Like the other day I pitched a piece about sharks and sort of pointed out that in the summer there's all the scaremongering about sharks, but sharks kill 4 humans a year and humans kill 100 million sharks a year. And they'll come back and say they feel that that's too niche. And so sometimes I get that as a response, but that's the life of a writer. Overall, I found it very easy. And despite the intimidation that the farming industry sometimes gives the publications that I write for, as a result of my articles, they've stood tall and they've stood strong and seen these bombarding lobbies of messages and intimidation. They've seen them for what they are. They've seen that this is a scared lobby trying to intimidate them.
What sort of response have your articles generated from the farming industry?
Well, the ones I did a few about eggs, including one, very much with Viva. But the dairy one was the one that got the biggest fuss, and it was, I got months, still to this day, 3 or 4 months on, like, daily, unpleasant tweets from dairy farmers. I don't really let them bother me because they're not often the most cerebral of people, these particular individuals. And so, you just sort of let it wash over you. But they did bombard The Guardian with complaints and stuff, particularly in the week after and the days after my article went up in March. And that is quite, I'd love to say it's scared. I'd love to say I'm intimidated and turn it into some big sub-story. But if they didn't do that, I'd consider I hadn't really hit the target the way that I wanted to. It's like the bigger the fuss, the more I think, because what hurts people is the truth. And they've never been able to really dispute anything I've written factually. They just hope that if they put enough pressure on, that people will wobble, but I'm not about to.
Yeah, so football and veganism. I mean, you're a big Arsenal fan. What are your views on the recent switch of Jermaine Defoe to veganism?
I think it's great when any sports people make that change, and I actually think that it's a very important part of vegan advocacy. I think, particularly to males, to get over this sort of thing of the week vegan. And I certainly, as a runner, I love running. It's almost given me a kick to try and get new PBs, personal bests, in all of my runs, so I can sort of say on Facebook and Twitter, this is the fastest I've ever done, and it comes after going vegan. At Arsenal, I'd love it if a player went vegan. We got Aaron Ramsey, who does a lot of work around sort of endangered species and stuff, and I'd certainly rather than him than Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who does a bit of hunting in his spare time. So I think that the more sports people that do it, the better, and I think it's really important that they're very loud about it and just say it very explicitly. I'm a vegan and I'm a successful sports person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously with football's incredibly popular in the UK. Recently we've interviewed Anthony Mullally from Leeds Rhinos, and he's a rugby player, and that really goes against the stereotype of, if a rugby player can go vegan and maintain their strength, there's not really much argument, is there, apart from dropping in the gorilla comment. So listen, Chaz, what's next for you?
I'd like to just continue writing more articles. I'd like to sort of do more to bolster people who are already doing great work. So that, that includes people like yourselves and also the Save movement. I don't know how, people from your group have sort of gone right into and seen in person, the horrors of some of these farms and slaughterhouses. I think that's enormously brave. And I think the same of the Save movement. And so I'd like to sort of, in my writing, do what I can to bolster them, and eventually I'd like to write like a book about this, possibly a novel that sort of indirectly explains it all to younger people. But that's quite a dream.
Yeah, sure. Well, if anyone can, you can, Chaz. And, to have you on the team promoting veganism and animal rights is a blessing. So thank you for using your platform to promote veganism as well. Chaz, how can people get hold of you?
The best way is probably on Twitter, where my username is allthatchaz, ALLTHATCHAS. And that's where I post most of all of my articles. If anyone wants to read and share the dairy one, that would be great. Just Google Guardian Dairy is Scary, and I'm sure it will be the top result. And that's, I'd love people to share that to their non-vegan friends. And I always love hearing from people and connecting with people in the movement.
Great. So I look forward to getting all your updates. Chaz, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We just wanted to share this wonderful piece of positive activism from one of our Viva supporters, Emma Jade Easton, to everyone who's taken our leaflets and campaigned. Whether it be for Tesco or any of our other campaigns, you do make a difference. Keep up the good work, keep up the fight, together we're stronger. And on a personal note, well done to Emma Jade Easton and the other activists who attended that day of action at Hurley. Here's a response from one of the people she spoke to who vowed to go vegan as a result of the work that Emma and her friends have put in. This is happening up and down the country with our campaigns because of you. Thank you.
Hey everybody, we're at Tesco's Superstore in Hurley. We've met some amazing people here today, and we're just spreading awareness about Tesco and this particular supplier. And obviously it's all animals. This is just one example of one undercover footage at one farm, but this goes for all animal agriculture. There is no such thing as humane meat, and we're just spreading awareness of that now, to say stand against animal cruelty and go vegan, remove animals from your diet, and just take a look at the footage that's available at Viva. Anyway, I met this lovely lady and I spoke to her about the campaign we're doing to Hogwarts and about animal agriculture. So what did you think about what we're doing today?
It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and you've persuaded me to go in there and buy Overspread.
Overspread because it's vegan, yeah.
Yeah, and the other type of milk, and it's just sickened me by seeing what is really going on. It really is. and I'm never going to eat meat again.
Amazing!
No, I'm not.
Amazing.
I'm never going to eat meat again, and I'm going to go for all the products that are for vegans, and I'm going to turn a vegan.
Oh, amazing.
This has made me feel
and this is because we're here exposing the truth.
Sick. It really has. I said to my mum, it really made me cry.
Yeah.
So, thanks to you, you have really changed my way of thinking.
And you know, I just want to put it across to you that we're here not just for the pigs at Hogwarts.
All animals. All animals.
Exactly.
And I'm now a vegan.
Yes! Amazing! High five.
High five.
Amazing. That is so good. Thank you so much for your support. We're going to give you leaflets and stuff. Have I given you leaflets?
You've given me all the leaflets. I've signed the petition, and I'm going to go home and read it.
Yeah, thank you for having compassion for all animals. And thank you for seeing the bigger picture, that it's not just about pigs.
It's not just about pigs.
Vegans, yeah?
Yeah,
thank you.
Trust me. You've done a lot. You've done a marvellous job.
Oh, we appreciate you guys, because each of us makes a personal difference. You know, every person that stops buying animal products makes a huge difference. So thanks for your support.
Oathie spread from now on.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Viva podcast on the 1st of every month. Thanks so much for listening. We absolutely love your support. Listeners worldwide, keep sharing, keep listening. We thank you.
30-Day Vegan with Viva. Sign up to our 30-Day Vegan programme and we'll email you with top tips every day for 30 days. Our tips include tasty, healthy meal plans, celebrity vegan inspiration, nutritional advice and health information. It's 100% free, so what are you waiting for? Go to viva.org.uk/30-day vegan. That's viva.org.uk/30-day vegan.
Next up is a summary of the last few Viva vegan festivals. We also speak to Sophie, our festival manager. She lets you know about Wembley, and I also speak to stall holders at our last few events.
We set it up 3 years ago in a small hotel with about 80 stalls. We're now in the arena with 180 stalls, which is obviously massive growth. We started off with 2,000 visitors. Last year we had 4,000. We expect even more today. We've got more to do, more to see, more food, more talks, more activities. Everything is bigger and better. It's really exciting. We've got all the stalls, we've got live music all day, we've got rapping, vegan rapping coming up, we've got the hula hooping, children's activities, we've got all day yoga, which is a first for us, we've got all day cookery demonstrations, we've got workshops, talks, free samples, nutritional advice, everything in one place.
I'm a roving chef for the charity Vegetarian for Life. So what I do is, my main aim as the chef is to teach caterers in residential homes and hospices, hospitals, to improve their catering for older vegetarians and vegans in their care. The charity that I work for, that is their main aim, to improve the lives of older vegetarians and vegans across the UK. We're the only charity in the world that do this, and so I am one of 2 chefs in the world that have this role. Because we're catering for the older crowd, I normally try and veganise what they want to eat. So if I go to a care home or a residential home, I'll ask them what they want to eat themselves. A lot of the time it's things like shepherd's pie, cottage pie. What I find a lot of the time is if you get a group project together, if you get a few people cooking together, they're more likely to try it than being on their own. So it could be anything from traditional British food, so a vegan Sunday roast, through to Thai food, Italian, Spanish, English, yeah, just everything really.
I'm here today because I've been vegan for 42 years and I cannot believe how many young people there are out there now becoming vegan. It's completely inspiring, and I've come to speak about the spiritual consequences of mass animal abuse, and I've come to talk about the spiritual vision of green guardianship of the earth. I'd like them to go away with the idea that we're all a family, that the earth is a living being, that we've only got one earth, and that the people and the animals really are meant to be allies and friends to each other. And I'm talking about an end to cruelty, And I think that when we're cruel to animals, we're also harming ourselves, and we're definitely harming the planet. There's a massive link between global poverty and animal husbandry, animal abuse, and that's what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about a vision of love, really.
This for me is like a child to me. It is my life. It's so important. I just want to get the word out about veganism. I want people to see that it's an amazing lifestyle choice. It's affordable, it's healthy, it's fun, it's exciting, and all the money that we raise from the event as well goes to my charity Miracles mission. We neuter and rescue stray dogs in Borneo, we rehome them, and we educate people how to look after animals. That's all I want to do in life. I just want to make the world a better place for animals, and this is letting me do it, so it just means everything.
Now, as anybody knows that have been to a Viva vegan festival, there is plenty of food options available. Now, one that's actually caught my eye that I haven't seen before is a Jamaican vegan establishment. Now, I'm here with Nobia. Nobia, how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming and offering your food. What's your food place called?
It's called Nobia's Catering.
And tell us a little bit about the food that you've been offering today.
Right, I've been serving cabbage with peppers and coconut stew, black eyed peas with spinach and marrow stew, rice, plantain fritters and bean fritters.
That sounds absolutely gorgeous. How's it gone down?
Fantastic, I'm sold out.
You sold out? Oh, man. I was going to... Right, that's it. Interview over.
No.
Brilliant. I'm really pleased. So you're going to do another one?
Yes, please. I'm going to come, I think, on the 30th of September.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for coming, and you've done a cracking job.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm here with Olivia, and it's your first Viva Vegan Festival, and you're volunteering for us. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm happy to be involved.
Yeah, what do you reckon? What's it like?
It's fun. It's not difficult. It doesn't take a lot of your time. Everyone, no excuse to not do it.
Oh, that's kind of you. But what do you think of the festival itself?
It's actually huge and so busy, and I wasn't expecting it, to be honest.
What were you expecting?
A couple people with dreadlocks to turn up and then disappear after half an hour.
Oh, the face of veganism really is changing, and it's sort of embracing everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like, all my friendship group now are vegan, or at least vegetarian and heading vegan way.
Well, listen, you've been volunteering for us all day, so thank you for that. But soon you're going to be having a look around, I hope. Is there anything that you're looking for in specific?
I'm excited to see the tea and the organic green tea.
Oh wow, God, the youth of today's changed, doesn't it? Blimey.
Yeah, and there's the pet food over there, which I'm going to have a whiff at to see.
Wicked. You're going to have what? A whiff at?
A whiff at.
Oh. Brilliant, well that sounds fantastic. Thanks, Olivia. Thanks for volunteering again.
Yeah, it's okay, no problem.
So, Charlie, I've seen your clothes stand that's caught my eye. Some lovely designs. How did you come up with the idea?
So basically, I had the idea in my head for about a year. I was working full-time, decided that it was about time to put some pressure on myself and make it work. So I quit my job, which was heartbreaking. I was working in a children's home with kids with autism, and it was absolutely heartbreaking to leave, but I had to, and now I'm here doing festivals, and it's incredible, and yeah.
How long have you been doing the business?
Well, like I said, I had the idea in my head for about a year, but I've only been doing the business for about 2 months.
Wow.
Today's my second festival.
Wicked.
My first one was in Coventry 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing. I only had 4 designs, got all 10 today, and I've had nothing but positive feedback. Everyone's loved it, and it feels so good.
Oh, great. Do you know what? It's quite brave, isn't it, to set up your own business? And I'm sure that there are quite a few people that listen to the show that have these ideas, oh, maybe I should do that, maybe I should do that, but you've got a job and blah, blah, blah. How did you make the leap?
It was just niggling at me, really. I kept having dreams about the future and what I wanted to be doing, even though I loved it, it wasn't what I wanted to be doing in the future. I wanted to be doing something that was educating people on veganism in a light-hearted way. Basically, what I plan to do with my business is to go abroad, run it from a Wi-Fi connection, have somebody posting it out for me, and work on volunteer conservation projects.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a plan. So what's some of the ideas of your T-shirts? What are some of the slogans and sayings?
So we've got Rock Out with your Brock Out, vegan vibes, of course, vegan sausage with a winky face, we've got vegan chick, that's one of the most popular ones actually, I've got one where we've got 4 animals. So you've got your cow, your pig, your sheep, and your chicken.
And how can people get hold of you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook /Well Travelled Herbivore. You can get me on Instagram at Well Travelled Herbivore. You can get me on Twitter at WellTravHerb. And if you go onto my website, www.welltravelledherbivore.com, you can find me on there. And over the next week, I'll be updating the store. And there's a blog on there where you can sort of read my journey up until this point.
Wicked. Charlie, that's great. And well done. You're an inspiration.
Thank you.
Brilliant. I'm here with Joe and Jade, who have a very ethical, earth-friendly business called Veopolis. How you doing?
Hey, really good. Nice to see you.
Brilliant. Hiya. Can you tell the listeners about your business?
The business, essentially, it's a marketplace, multi-vendor, and all we do is kind of take all the most earth-friendly brands, ethically vetted, 100% vegan, and kind of house them all in one place. So as we're at a vegan fair, it's very similar to being at a vegan fair and putting it all online. So hopefully you can kind of do the kind of shopping and make sure that all the investment goes towards, good causes.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, I'm looking at some of the products that you do. There's quite a few of the people, the stall holders that are at our festivals here. So it literally is like our festivals online.
Absolutely. So we want to support small businesses, vendors, people that are passionate about making their products, and we can help market them and put them on the website. So anyone that's interested in buying something earth-friendly, vegan, healthy, good for yourself, good for the earth, good for the planet, then you can jump online and find it.
And what's the website link?
So it's www.veopolis.com.
How do you spell Veopolis?
VEOPOLIS.
Brilliant.
And we've got, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us online, see our little video, see our little story about how we were created from the need of people wanting to find ethical goods and how tough that was. We're trying to facilitate that for you. So
wonderful. That looks fantastic. Conscious consumers and ethical vendors. What a partnership.
That's it. It's perfect.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Now, I'm here with Sophie, who is the festival organiser at Viva. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Yeah, very well, thank you. I've just got back from one of your festivals in Liverpool, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Very successful.
It was very good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I must say, these festivals are getting bigger and bigger. Which is fantastic, not just for us, obviously, but for veganism in general and for the animals. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Right, we've got London coming up, the London Viva Festival. Tell the listeners all about it.
So the London Viva Vegan Festival is Viva's biggest show this year. It's taking place on the 16th of September, and it's going to be open from 11 till 6, and it's taking place at Wembley, at the Drum at Wembley. Basically, it's going to be 160 stalls, massive range of loads of vegan businesses, hot food, cold food, got a vegan beer garden. We've also got amazing speakers, cookery demos, and an entire section of vegan athletes giving inspirational talks. People such as Fiona Oakes, Hench Herbivore and Terry Fierce will be attending.
How many stands did you say were there?
160.
160? Oh my gosh, that's huge. How many people are we expecting through the door?
We're hoping for about 5,000 attendees for a festival that size.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. I think the biggest one I've been to so far, the biggest Viva one, was 4,500, and that was pretty epic in itself, So you've got Hench Herbivore there, Fiona Oakes, so there's some inspiring athletes.
Yeah. We've also got Terry Fierce is a pole fitness performer, and she's actually doing a performance. So that's going to be one to see. She's impressive.
You've got to be pretty fit to do that as well, haven't you? You've got muscles that you didn't know you had, sort of thing.
Yeah, and then on the opposite scale, we've got Miss Cupcake doing a cookery demo of some delicious cupcakes.
Wow, her cupcakes are incredible,
they are the best.
So is she actually going to be spilling the beans?
She is. She's doing a vegan baking 101. Yeah.
Vegan Baking 101. What's that going to be?
It's basically the basics of vegan baking. So she's doing a demo of showing you how to make her yummy recipes.
So where's this going to be? How can people get tickets? And just give everyone the lowdown of where they can get more info.
So tickets are £5 on the door. Under 16s are free. It's at the Drum at Wembley in London on Saturday, the 16th of September.
In the next piece, our PR and marketing manager, Siobhan, caught up with Jeremy Vine with regards to the piglets who were saved from a blaze and then served to firefighters as sausages. So this whole bit of news has caught everybody's attention, be them meat eaters, vegetarians and vegans. And I think that for people who do actually eat meat, in many ways it's made them question a little bit more and made them connect about where their meat comes from. Anyway, Here's what was said.
18 piglets that were rescued from a fire have been turned into sausages and served to the firefighters who saved them. Yep, in February, the baby pigs and the 2 sows were in danger of perishing in a fire that broke out at a farm in Wiltshire. It was a very serious blaze. A wall of hay weighing 60 tonnes was alight and the family of pigs was stuck behind it. The farmer, Rachel Rivers, wanted to say thank you to the firefighters for their heroics in saving the animals, and a few months later she took 36 sausages to Pewsey Fire Station as a gift. The sausages were made from the rescued pigs. The firefighters then cooked them on a disposable barbecue and took pictures, and they said the bangers were fantastic. And there the story might end, except that not everyone appreciates the gesture or the response. People on the BBC Wiltshire Facebook page have questioned the suitability of the sausages as a thank you gift, given that the pigs were rescued. Pearl Lucia Sayre asks, what is wrong with giving the farmman a box of chocolates? Kimberly Finelli says it's horrible, just horrible. Critics point out it's illogical to thank the firefighters by serving up the very animals they saved. At least it shows we are so hypocritical when it comes to animals we care for and eat. So we go live to a field in Wiltshire to talk to the people who run the farm, and Rachel Rivers is on the line. Hi, Rachel.
Oh, good morning. Good afternoon, Jeremy.
And the farm owner is Canon Gerald Osborne, who's a vicar now. So Gerald will be with you in a second or two.
Yep.
Rachel, firstly, tell me about the blaze.
The blaze was horrific. It started about 9:30 on a cold evening in February, and it was an electrical fault. And we had 2 sows and 18 piglets in the barn keeping warm.
Is that Gerald in the background?
No, that's a cow.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry. And the firefighters came and they got the blaze under control. We moved the piglets out and rescued the piglets.
Yep. So there's a lot of stress there because the hay caught fire and you've got property, but you've got life, albeit animal life there too.
Yes, absolutely, which is more important.
And we should say, while we're praising the fire officers, that they are retained firefighters. Is that right?
Yes, Pewsey and Marlborough retain firefighters. We don't have a permanent fire crew there, and they're a great bunch of lads.
So they got... how much damage was there in the end?
We had to have a new back and roof on the barn. We lost 60 tonnes of hay, so we had to replace the hay by buying it in and have the barn rebuilt.
Did any animals die?
No, none. They were all saved.
And so that's 18 2-week-old piglets?
18 2-week-old piglets and 2 sows as well.
So now the tricky bit, the piglets then get older, and as happens to pigs, they are then slaughtered for meat.
Yep. Well, it's not tricky at all, really. It's our livelihood. It's what we do. I think the firefighters really appreciate the sausages rather than a bunch of flowers, or maybe people would like me to have gone to Tesco's and buy some sausages for them.
Well, I know it's this peculiar thing. It's just I suppose what's worried some people is the gift was made with the pigs they saved. That's the peculiar part of it.
Well, we didn't have any other pigs, so, not to us it's not, because that's what we do. We farm, and that's the way those animals, we've given those animals the best life they could possibly have before they go to slaughter. We're a 900-acre organic farm, and they're fed, they free range in a 10-acre field. They're fed with the grain that we produce on the farm, so we don't buy in any food. We know exactly what we're putting into the pigs. And the result is excellent sausages.
Well, conveniently, the owner of the farm is a vicar, Canon Gerald Osborne, who's the rural dean of Pewsey. Or Pewsey Vale.
Yep.
So Gerald, are you there?
Yeah, hold on.
Hello.
Hello there.
Yes, hello, Jeremy.
What do you make of the morality of this interesting tale?
As a farmer, I reckon. I'm a steward of all that. On the farm, and the farm is about stewardship. It's about raising animals. We're an organic farm, and on an organic farm you need animals for the fertility of the soil and for looking after the environment. And we raise animals and we give them the best life we can by sending them to a local abattoir. We give them the most respectful death we can. And then the inevitable part of farming is the death of an animal, and it gives us the food to eat.
And when the sausages were given to the firefighters, did you expect the reaction that you've had from some quarters?
No, it certainly didn't. I mean, the firefighters themselves were very grateful, and they were. We are very grateful to them. I mean, as Rachel said, they did a tremendous job on that night, and they relished the sausages, and people locally who've eaten them know the story, and people have enjoyed them. So obviously I respect people who choose not to eat meat and who, for their own reasons, are vegetarian. But yes, I have been slightly surprised at some of the reaction.
Because there's quite a lot of vegan anger.
Yes, one appreciates that there are people who don't like this, and there are people who potentially get very upset. But I have to respect them for their opinion. But I think the vast majority of people around the country like to tuck into their sausages and bacon for breakfast.
What about another quick word with Rachel? Is she still there, or is she back at work now?
Yes, here she is.
Hello?
I was wondering, Rachel, whether maybe the rule here is that once an animal is rescued, it's no longer anonymous, and that animals that are rescued become pets.
Well, yes, but not in a farming sense. What are we supposed to do with a load of male pigs that we've rescued, or the firemen have rescued? What are we supposed to do with them?
All right, well, let's leave that question hanging. It's a very interesting question. Thank you very much, Rachel. Cheers. And Gerald as well.
Okay.
So we're talking about the piglets that were saved from a fire and then given as sausages to the firemen as a thank you gift. And somebody who's not impressed is Siobhan Dolan from Viva, which is a vegan campaigning charity. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What do you make of this story?
So we're obviously quite distressed about this story. We're really impressed that there's been so much media coverage of this story, and we think that there's been a huge shift in consumer opinion. You know, there's sparked a lot of debate on social media all across the country from people who are vegetarian, vegan, and meat eaters.
There may also be complaints from, as you say, meat eaters who they don't mind eating the sausages, but they don't ever want to know what the sausages came from. And in a way, the great thing about what the farmer's done here is that she said, look, these pigs were rescued, then they get older, then they get slaughtered, then we eat them. What's the problem? That's the chain.
So the problem is, as we see it, is that animals aren't ours to use, full stop. And I was just listening to the farmer speak prior to the track you just played, and they spoke about how they lived a free-range life and they were fed crops from their farm. But unfortunately, all farmed animals face the same fate, which is slaughter. And no matter how you dress it up, it's cruel and unnecessary. And over 60% of farm pigs in the UK are slaughtered using gas, which uses carbon monoxide. And it's not an instant death. They struggle, they suffer. And I think, regardless of how you dress it up, that it's an awful thing that is completely unnecessary.
All right, let me bring in Colin Sutherland in Newbury. What do you make of that, Colin?
Yeah, look, it's just another politically correct middle-class brigade who haven't got a clue about the countryside. They're moving from the towns. They're moving to buy into the countryside. I run an organisation for I rescue birds of prey, and we take birds of prey into care homes like nature as therapy. And all you get from the politically correct brigade is the same old rubbish. They want to go onto some of the farms and have a look. They're beautiful.
Siobhan, have you?
Home and they're beautiful.
Siobhan, have you been on a farm recently?
Well, we've investigated a farm in Warwickshire recently, which was a factory farm, which I don't think is fair to compare to the farm that has been, that we're talking about. Also, I'm not sure what the connection is with the guy that's rescuing birds with the story that we're discussing.
Colin?
But anyway,
it's obviously you don't get the message because it's got the same connection. I'm talking about another politically correct and load of nonsense.
But we're
go
not
on a
talking
farm
about
and see the majority of farms. They're beautiful.
All right, Colin.
Go on to any farmer in Britain and they're the best cared animals in the world. The same as any other place.
Strongly disagree with that. Over 90% of piglets reared in the UK are factory farmed, which means intensely farmed, which means they're crammed into tiny pens, they're pumped full of antibiotics, their tails are routinely docked, their back teeth are pulled out without anaesthetic. And I think it's very hard for anybody to look at that kind of footage and say that that's humane, fair treatment of animals.
There was a story probably about a year ago, Siobhan, about some chickens that were in a truck that were being transported. I think it was 6,000 chickens. The truck.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? The truck crashed. No humans were hurt. 1,500 chickens died. And the sort of strange thing is that of the 4,500 that were rescued, they were then rescued, put back in the truck and taken to an abattoir.
But on the plus side, we actually managed to save some of those and take them to a sanctuary that we work very closely with in Wales.
So I see. So there is a chicken sanctuary as well.
There's multiple animal sanctuaries all over the country. And going back to what Rachel just said about, you said that once the piglets had been rescued, surely wouldn't you want to take care of them and look after them? And she said, well, what are we supposed to do with them? We work with a number of animal sanctuaries all across the country that would have been more than willing, would have been happy to take these piglets and save their lives rather than them being fed to the firefighters that saved them.
Maybe it does come down to the fact that if the piglets are lucky enough to escape death once, we don't put them through it again. We don't take them to an abattoir.
No, it's an extremely cruel irony, this story. That the firefighters risked their lives to save these animals, then only the farmer for them to send them to slaughter and to barbecue them out of all forms of cooking. But, this goes back to, we're supposed to be a nation of animal lovers. Would we rescue a dog and turn it into a sausage? No. Why do we choose to keep some animals as companion animals and use others for food?
Yeah, well, some people object to squirrels being put in pies.
That's true.
But then we put, sheep and cows and everything else in pies, so why not?
I think the main thing is that this has sparked a lot of debate across the country, and people have clearly been touched by this story. And I think the only advice that I can give to them is if you have been touched by this story and you feel some sort of connection with these animals that have been slaughtered, the only thing to do is to try a vegan lifestyle. It's cruelty-free, it's healthier, it's kinder, and even now we've got vegan bacon and vegan sausages. So there's been no better time to try a vegan lifestyle.
Thanks very much for joining us from Viva. Thank you, Siobhan.
Thank you.
All the best. Come on again, Siobhan Dolan from Viva, which is, as you could tell, a vegan campaigning charity.
Now here's a piece of music for you. This is from Bristol house producer Andy Compton. Good friend of mine. Really support him. This tune features Tanisha Edwards and it's called Perception. You can grab this tune from iTunes and all other major download stores. Enjoy!
much I'm barely breathing, but you can keep me. I'm only showing you the love you should be keeping, but you've unleashed it. Lift me up, take my hand, come away with me. Oh, let my body rise up, we're in ecstasy.
The London Viva Vegan Festival, taking place at the Drum at Wembley on Saturday the 16th of September. There's going to be 160 stalls of amazing vegan products, all the food you can eat, plus talks and cookery demos happening all day. Entry is just £5 and under 16s are free. There's something there for everyone. Bring family and friends for a great day out. That's the London Viva Vegan Festival, taking place at the Drum at Wembley on Saturday the 16th of September from 11 till 6 p.m.
One of the great things about running the podcast is being able to share with you all the latest Viva vegan news, views and interviews. Cool, I'm glad I managed to spit that one out without stuttering. So anyway, Viva have a new campaign coming up. So I'm here with Sam Ashman, who is our fundraising manager. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm good and great, thank you.
Yeah, good. Now tell us about the new campaign.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's called Bring Hope to Millions and it's coming this September. It's probably going to be our biggest ever campaign and we're hoping to raise £100,000.
Wow, that's a lot of money. What's the aim of the campaign, Sam?
Well, we want to do something that no one else has done before. This is to show a vegan cinema ad to over 2 million cinema goers. We've shown that through research, cinema audiences have been shown to be at least 4 times more emotionally engaged than a television audience. And this is our opportunity to get over 2 million people sitting down and paying complete attention to our message.
I wonder why they're all engaged. Maybe it's because the lights are off, the sound's on full, and it's sort of commanding your attention, isn't it, I suppose? Well, what's the message going to be?
The message is, well, because of all the help that supporters gave us, we were able to save Hope the pig and her piglets. And they're still alive because so many people who support Viva came together to support us in rescuing them. And we know that people care so much about the lives of animals, but that it can be really hard to make the connection between the animals we love and the animals that we eat. So we want to make that connection for them. The campaign Hope Not Hell is all about showing people the powerful contrast between Hope's life and the lives of other mother pigs on factory farms. Their lives are so different and the difference is so obvious that we just know that showing people this contrast will change hearts and minds.
Let's hope so.
So Bring Hope to Millions is for us to raise enough money to show this powerful message to over 2 million people who are really paying attention. We have the advert, we have the permissions, our film's been rated 12A for audiences, and all we need is the funds to pay for the media space. The audience is guaranteed too. If we raise the target, 2 million people will see these ads.
So, that sounds amazing, Sam. How can people help you? How can Viva supporters get behind us on this?
Well, the campaign will be launching on the 20th of September. So just visit viva.org.uk/Bring Hope to Millions to donate. We've also been given the amazing opportunity to double every single donation by a generous donor who's offered to match every donation up to the value of £50,000.
You what, sorry? Say that one. Rewind and come again. Say again.
We have a donor who's willing to match all donations up to the value of £50,000. So if you give £20, they'll make it 40. If you give 200, they'll make it 400. Who could say no to that?
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and we'll have some amazing one-time only exclusive rewards for people who are supporting the campaign too. Some really cool piglet-related stuff. I'm not going to give any secrets away now. And by supporting us, you'll also just be part of it. And this is going to be our biggest ever thing. We're going to do something that no other vegan charity has done before. We're going to take veganism to the cinema.
I mean, that's ultimately it, isn't it? It's not really about the little rewards that people get with the piglets and the key rings. It's about being a part of something and being able to make a difference, because that's what I think a lot of people who aren't in the position to be as active as they want to with regards to sort of vegan activism, it gives them the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's true. And we're also looking for an extra special team of volunteers who can help us reach even more people.
The SS team, super special.
Super special.
Super special secret volunteers.
So if you visit the page before the launch date, you can sign up to be the first to know about campaign updates and to get the opportunity to spread this message to thousands more people. We need your help to do it. We want to bring hope to millions of people and millions of animals. And we need your help so that we can do it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that sounds really good, Sam. What's the timing of this? Did you say September?
September 20th is the launch date, and you can go to viva.org.uk/Bring Hope to Millions to find out more about it.
Fantastic. So that's the Bring Hope to Millions campaign coming in September. We need you on this one. It's going to be our biggest ever campaign. We're hoping to raise £100,000 to get our advert in the cinema to 2 million cinema goers. Come on, let's be a part of this together.
The Viva shop. We lovingly handpick our merchandise, scouring the planet for animal-free amazingness and handcrafted herbivore delights. For the best in vegan-friendly beauty, books, clothing, accessories, food and gifts, shop kind at the Viva shop. Go to vivashop.org.uk. That's vivashop.org.uk.
You've been listening to the Viva podcast on the 1st of every month. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher and many, many others. You can also catch our podcast on viva.org.uk/Viva podcast. That's viva.org.uk/Viva podcast. Look forward to speaking to you in October. We're going to have another action-packed episode ready and waiting for you. Until then, be kind to all.